Snow, one of the staple Kratos players on CJ, along with Harangi and what's his face, Flying. I can never tell him apart from Flying. Even in terms of like his accomplishments and stuff, I was getting confused. But I'm pretty sure like this is the guy that played an epic best of 5 against J-Doll. And it's gonna be Juni! Really? Really, January? Really? Alright. Alright. Maybe if Juni's hair is bright yellow enough, he can like blind the opponent and win the game that way or something. I'm not really sure how the strategy works. It needs to be a little bit shinier though. This is like dull blonde, dull yellow. It needs to be like super bright. Anyway. Yeah. So Juni, not quite the same caliber as J-Doll. But then again, I don't think Snow's playing PvZ as good as he did during that, what was it, MSL match? It was MSL. Yeah, the MSL best of 5. Anyway, PvZ looks like, oh, 7-7, perfectly balanced. Nice. And we are going to be on ground 0. By the way, it's quite funny that TVZ is 8-2 on this map, because you know everyone was saying, "Oh, this Zerg is so Zerg favored, or this map is so Zerg favored now," since they made those changes from last season. It's quite amusing. So this is actually going to be the 4th game that Juni has played this season, which is quite interesting. I don't think did he even get played once last season? I think he got played at most like 1 game last season, if that. Then again, last season was best of 5s, and we are now in best of 7s, so I guess you do kind of need to, you know, throw in some random people now and then. But well, let me not BM him too much, just in case he pulls out some brilliance. Just like how I was saying last game that reality's boring, and then he like pulls out some amazing stuff. But we do have Snow at the bottom right as the orange Kratos, Juni at the top left as the purple Zerg, cross positions on ground 0. And yeah. Let us see. You know, now all I can think about when I see these cross-position PvZ on this map is Jangbi versus Zero, Game 1 in the OSL semifinals, where he went like 1 base, 2 gateway Dark Templar rush. It's like only made Dark Templars, did like an old school anytime style thing, and then it actually worked against Zero. It was unbelievable. He's like, he's like, you know, I heard DTs are pretty good. How about I just only make DTs? And it worked, because DTs are pretty good. He was right, they are good. So, we do have a pile on the front, going to be a Forge Fast Expand. Pro Baru, moving to the bottom left. And... she's like, go away! Camera guy, don't BBM! And, ooh, interesting, we're actually going to see an overpull here from our Zerg player against a Forge first, because just to be safe, of course. You can see 2 probes are actually going out. That's actually very standard in this matchup, just to be very safe. So you send the pylon probe out to scout first, and then basically the timing is that as soon as the pylon probe on a 4-player map, the pylon probe will get to one of the bases and see if the Zerg's there. And if you see the Zerg, then obviously you can decide what to do based on that. But if you don't, then your second probe needs to go out and make a forge, and then your 2 probes go to the top simultaneously, as you saw just there. So the scouting timing works out quite well. It's actually funny, I've always been really curious about why this doesn't actually happen in StarCraft 2 on like the big 4-player maps. And I think part of the reason is that there's actually not many 4-player maps that don't have locked spawns. Like there's a lot of 2-player maps in the tournament pools, right? Like, you know, Daybreak, Cobb Kingdom, whatnot, Ohana, and then other 4-player maps like Entombed and Antigua have locked spawns. So, you know, like Antigua is cross only, Entombed is no horizontal positions. Like, I'm trying to actually think of a 4-player map where you don't have set spawns. Like Shakuris is 4-player-ish, but you can't spawn close, right? Like a lot, it's very limited actually. So yeah. I mean, like Tal'Darim Altar, someone is saying, yeah, like that's kind of been dropped from the ladder pool, but I guess that was a map. Yeah, cause like right now on the ladder, you know, there's Condemned Ridge, and I always do the scouting pattern on Condemned Ridge. Some like it's just like habit from Prudor. So yeah, yeah. I guess like Tal'Darim is really the main one. Interesting. GSL Whirlwind, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I haven't been talking about this game. Got caught up in my little map analysis thing. But I mean, everything is standard. Looks like Scouting Probe got taken down. We do have a third base at the bottom left natural for our Zerg player, Juni. And, you know, we can see a standard wall here with 2 cannons from our Protoss. Oftentimes Protoss will try to get away with 1 cannon, but of course, since it was a faster pool instead of just a 12 hatch, and since the choke on this map is rather wide, it is safer to get 2 cannons, so I think it's a good move from Snow. Also, you know, another thing is, I don't want to be mean to Juni, but, you know, I definitely rate Snow as a higher caliber player than him, so, you know, generally, if you're a higher caliber player, you want to play safe against a weaker guy, because it's a higher chance of him doing something cheesy, trying to all-in you. Anyway, another Scouting Probe is going to see that bottom left third, so he's not going to worry about any kind of crazy 2-hatch Hydra Bust or something like that. I think it would be a bit silly to do that anyway, since they are cross-map. And the first out's going to run out here. Looks like he's going directly over to the third here. He's going to put on a little bit of pressure, but there are 6 links out already, so I'm not really sure how much he thinks he can do. Okay, no, he is going back now. That's what I thought, because otherwise he'd just get taken down by the 6 links, easy peasy. Yeah, not too concerning there. Just wanted to poke out, maybe scare Juni a little bit. But, oh! Wow, big mistake there from Juni. Oh, man. And he was going 3-hatch Hydra as well. Wow. Tried to block the ramp there with that drone, just completely bungled it. I don't know why he thought he needed to micro that drone, because he could have just put it on the ramp. It's a narrow ramp, right? You could just put it in the position that blocks, and then just like hold position it with a drone, with an Overlord, and then it will just like never let the probe in. So I don't know why he didn't do that. That seems pretty silly. Maybe can you not do that on this ramp? I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure you can do that on this map. Anyway, we are gonna have Corsair Reaver. Oh yes. Oh man, this is actually going to be very interesting, because Juni, in response to getting his 3-hatch Hydra scouted, is actually instead just immediately taking a 4th base at the bottom left. So he's going super greedy here, just 4 bases with almost no defenses right now. And look at this. This is actually very smart, because the thing is, you know, Snow does not know that he's doing this, right? And the thing is, 3-hatch Hydra is not even like a super cheesy strategy. It's actually quite common nowadays to just go 3-hatch Hydra, put on some early Hydra pressure, and then just tech up and drone up behind it, and kind of force your opponent to make more cannons, force or like pick off the buildings of the wall, like the gateway and the forge, and get a few buildings for free. And basically, it kind of evens out in the long run with them having to make more cannons and stuff and losing buildings. But in this case, taking that very fast 4th is very interesting. And look at that, the Corsair's not even going to go see it. It's going to go straight to that 3rd and go up towards the main base. He's not going to check the 4th base there, because he does not expect that. That's very interesting style from Juni. And he is still making a lot of Hydras, though. He's actually making more Hydras than I thought. That's a surprising number of Hydras. I thought he'd just drone up a lot behind this as well to make good use of that 4th base. I'm not sure why he needs that 4th base so early if he's not even going to have any drones to really saturate any of his bases right now. But, I mean, you know, he's putting a lot of Hydras. I mean, he's kind of still you know, selling the idea that he's going for some super aggressive Hydra play in the beginning. But the thing is, you know, I mean, these Hydras eventually will get warded away when that Reaver comes out. You know, when the Reaver comes out with all those cannons supporting, there's no way it's going to work. He's actually kind of moving in here. He's forcing a probe pull. Does he actually have enough to break this? I am quite surprised by this, actually. Snow having to pull these probes, I don't think it's going to actually kill Snow. It really shouldn't, considering he took that fast 4th. That would be quite silly for Snow. But, yeah, he's just having to leave these probes here for a while until that Reaver comes out. As soon as the Reaver comes out, he'll be completely safe. But he's still losing probes while this happens, and this is actually really, really bad for Snow. And, oh my god, Juni's actually going for it again! No, he just goes in, slams one cannon, and moves back. Very smart. The problem is, every time you do that, obviously you take damage running in and running out. So even if it's effective, like, you know, you are still losing Hydras like this. And the probes, of course, doing damage as well in the front. Look at this, Juni just being ridiculously aggressive here. I don't know if like he changed his mind after seeing how few defenses there were after getting a 4th hatch, but oh, a nice little trap with the probes, and another cannon does finish, and the Reaver comes out. So I'm fairly certain that Snow will hold here, but he's taking so much economic damage right now that I don't even know. Like in terms of the drone count, you know, Juni does not have many drones, but in terms of the overall worker count, you know, he's not that far ahead anymore. I mean, I'm sure he's still been making probes. He's definitely still ahead, but not by as much as I think he should be. And look at this, Juni, he's got his 4th base up, but as I said, look at this, just 2 drones on each of those bases. It's like, they don't even really count as bases right now. Look, 3 drones there, 2 drones there. The main and natural looks not even saturated. Look, he's barely got 1 per mineral patch in the main. I don't think he even has 1 per mineral patch in the main. Got slightly better saturation at the natural here. But even though he's on 4 bases, this is still kind of low econ-ish for Juni. And now Snow has stabilized. He's getting +1 attack for his Corsairs. He's going to continue with that Corsair Reaver style. And it's very interesting. Okay, so it's going to be a little difficult with these spread out bases for Juni to be everywhere at once with his Hydras and to bend against the Reaver. But on the other hand, you know, the counter, or the quote-unquote counter to Corsair Reaver, or the best response, I should say, really, is to just mass expand his Zerg. Because essentially, Corsair Reaver, when you go for Corsair Reaver, it's very, very expensive, so you're investing a lot of money in the Corsairs and the Reavers. You're not going to have a big ground army, right? So you can't just move out with a huge ground army after going Corsair Reaver. So the Zerg basically has a timing where he can say, okay, you can't be super aggressive, you can only just harass me a lot. So even if your Corsair Reaver does a lot of good harassment and is very cost efficient, I'll just expand a lot. So even if like you kill 1 base, I'll just make 5 more bases, and then I'll just out-macro you anyway. Because there's no way you can attack me in like the next, you know, 8 minutes or whatever. I always make these numbers up, by the way. I have no idea the exact timings. But basically, you know, he's like, okay, I'm going to lose Overlords. I'll probably lose some drones to your Reaver and whatnot. But as long as I don't die, and as long as I, you know, just have more stuff, it's going to be okay. Because you can't punish me for just expanding like crazy. And looks like the Reaver is not moving out now. It doesn't have speed yet. Just, hopefully he's getting that, and it'll finish before he actually gets there. Looks like he does leave 1 Reaver at the front and builds a couple of gateways. I actually like this very, very much. Those gateways and that Reaver there. A lot of Protoss players, sometimes they get a little bit too eager. They move out with their first Reaver and they don't leave a Reaver home to defend. And if the Zerg just happens to bust you at that time, you can just instantly lose games. I know Cal, for example, from Air Force Ace, has had a lot of very, very disappointing losses where he went for Corsair Reaver and just got Hydra busted as his shuttle was moving out. But here we go, the Reaver's going in here. Is Juni going to be able to defend? Loses just 1 drone there, so not the most damage, and now shuttle speed does finish, but oh my god, takes a huge amount of damage from the Hydras. Oh my god, he might actually catch it. The Hydra should move back a little bit so that the shuttle doesn't see them, and is he going to get it? He gets 1 more shot off. He's really trying to intercept the shuttle. Oh my god, can he get it? Those 2 Hydras, I think they'll get it. They're going to get the shuttle. If we don't crash, I swear to god, if the stream crashes. Oh my god, please don't crash. Oh, he gets the shuttle, and now he's going to get the Reaver. This is horrible for Snow. Great Hydra positioning for Juni. Oh my god, I doubted Juni before this game. How did that Scarab not kill all 3 Hydras there? That's interesting. But man, look at January grinning. She's like, wow, I sent Juni out to troll people, and he's actually winning the game. Lol, 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 lol. January ruffling it up. And we do have another macro hatch going down from Juni. And look at this. Now Snow's stuck back in his base, and a bunch of Hydras going up his front. I mean, look at this. He doesn't have a big ground army. He doesn't have a lot of gateways. January just can't stop grinning here. January taking lessons from Jangbi on the early celebration there. The victory celebration. And now we have Mutalisks out, but there's still a number of Corsairs. I'm not sure if this is the best response, honestly, because, you know, he killed the Reaver, fine, and he killed the first shuttle, but he didn't actually kill any Corsairs. And there are a lot of +1 Corsairs. Anyway, meanwhile, it looks like this is going to be a Zealot harass now at the bottom left, and that's actually quite good. Just sending a few Zealots, going to be very cost efficient with those. They're not very useful at this point anyway, but oh, if you can get these Corsairs, that would be huge. Because then these Corsairs are like the only anti-mutant defense there is right now. It's going to take a little bit of damage from those Hydralisks, and now the Mutant and Scourge are going into the main. There's actually only 1 cannon here, just started. The Zealot's going to go into the bottom left, but there's already a Sunken there, and here we go. Mutant's going to go into the main. Scourge going to be used to deflect the Corsairs. Snow's actually just pushing out the front here, but he can't defend his main base. Oh my god. This should not be that effective here. Those Corsairs are flying around. They're trying to figure out what to do, but it doesn't look like Snow made that many. He only made like 5, it seems. Okay, now he's got 6 Corsairs with +1, but he has to be very, very careful. If those Scourge land and he loses all those Corsairs, he'll be done. He's still like trying to poke around, pick off what he can on the edges. Looks like the Mutas are going back now to pick off the Speed Zealots that are running around. The looks like the Sunken in the bottom left was taken down, so those Speed Zealots are going to continue to do some damage here. But oh man, this is really painful for Snow in his main base. He can't get control of it, even though he has all those +1 Sairs. He has to be very, very careful with all those Scourge flying around. The thing is though, Juni also has to be careful, because those Scourge are clumping up a little bit here. Basically, you want to keep the Scourge kind of spread out, reduce the splash damage from the Corsairs, kind of get a flank off with the Scourge if you can, pick off those Corsairs. Just kind of flying around in the main base is a little bit risky. So he has pulled back, as you can see. And, I mean, I think the damage has kind of been done anyway. You know, even though that counter Zealot drop was kind of nice by Snow, he's still on 2 base against the Zerg's 4, and now, you know, the drone count is actually getting up there. If we actually look at the supplies, Juni is up at 107 supply against the 85 supply, Snow. And usually at this point in the game, the Protoss wants to be a little bit ahead in supply, you know, like 10 or 20 supply ahead. But the thing is, when you go for Corsair Reaver, oftentimes your supply is actually much lower. So even supply at this point, I think would probably be fine for the Protoss. But he is a little bit behind though, and that's not good. Now moving out here with Zealots and Archon and a Reaver. Hopefully 2 Reavers in that shuttle. He really needs those Reavers because he doesn't have any High Templar with Storm right now. He has the only splash damage he has is those Reavers, and when you're fighting against Mass Hydra, that is absolutely crucial, having that splash damage. It's actually very similar to an SC2. In PvT, you absolutely need splash damage. You can't just have like gateway units with no splash. And here we go. There's a big engagement. Oh, sick Reaver shots! He manually target fires the middle of the Hydra pack, just demolishes the Hydras. Juni did not spread out his Hydras at all. He just A-moved all his Hydras. He tried to use his Mutas to move in and kill everything, but that was a huge engagement for Snow. Oh my god, suddenly Snow shoots up to a 40 supply lead. Snow was down 10 supply, and now he's 40 supply ahead. Reavers, man, are frigging awesome. Reavers are a pretty good unit. You thought DTs were good? Man, just look at those Reavers. Oh my god, and now he's moving in, and oh, suddenly we have double Korean audio because my esports TV stream suddenly started working. Sorry about that. But now the Reaver is going into the main. No, it's actually a Zealot drop once again. My bad. 4 Zealot drop going into that base once again. But the thing is, look at this. Snow actually pulled his forces back after winning that engagement. He didn't press the attack. He didn't press the issue and go into the bottom left there. And well, now he's kind of contained back on his 2 bases once again, and you know that was probably a good idea because the thing is, a lot of people are thinking like, well, why did Snow pull back after? Oh my God, the High Templar, don't lose them! What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Oh my God, Snow, he loses 3 High Templar and just kills like 1 Hydralisk. What the hell was that? Oh, huge mistake from Snow. He didn't pull the Templars back; they were just rallying to the front. Oh God, I feel his pain. I think any Protoss player has had that happen to them where they're just like not paying attention. They're like, oh my god, Hydras are coming, pull the army back, and then they left the High Templars out. Oh god. But that one Zealot though has 6 kills there. Looks like mostly drones at that base. Very nice job by him. But alright, back to the point. Juni pulled back, or sorry, Snow pulled back because he lost his Reavers. And as I said, without splash damage, that army is actually really not that effective. So even though he did win that battle convincingly, he didn't want to press the issue, because if he kept going on the attack, he would have just lost his army and probably not gotten that much in return. Maybe he could have sniped the base, but then he would have just got his whole army crushed and then been completely contained with no way of going out. But look at this, he's still contained even though he saved his army. Without those 3 High Templar, I think, might have been crucial here to break this, because now Lurkers are morphing, and if a Lurker containment goes down here, I have no idea how he's going to get out. I mean, he's going to be able to push slowly with the Reavers, but that's just going to take way too long here. It's going to be so difficult for him, but it looks like he does have a decent Corsair count now, flying around, trying to pick off random Overlords, pick off whatever he can, try and pull himself back in here. I mean, actually, the supplies are looking much better for Snow right now. It's 109 supply for him against the 92 supply for Juni. So still not perfect, and still not an ideal position in terms of expansions and, well, like being contained by a trillion Lurkers. But you know, he's got a decent ground army right now. Looks like he's getting a little bit stuck in his own base, but actually the Lurker contained is a little bit far back, so he will have a little bit of space to maneuver out of those gateways. And he's gonna have to have some maybe good Reaver control, good contain breaking micro here. It is actually an art, essentially, breaking a Lurker contain as a Protoss player. Basically what you want to do is you want to lead with the Dragoons, so you want to keep all your Zealots and Archons and melee units back. You want to attack with the Dragoons, because with their extended range they won't take much splash damage from the Lurkers. And you want to have the Templar just behind your Dragoons, so that if the Zerg player tries to run forward with Hydras and Lings to kill all your Dragoons, then you storm him. So yeah, so basically the Dragoons are like the mainstay unit with the High Templars backing them up, and once the contain is starting to falter, then you send all your Zealots in. Because you don't want to send all your Zealots in first, because then they just get completely annihilated by the Lurker Fire. Anyway, another nice little Zealot drop here in the bottom left, just Snow being continuously annoying at this bottom left base. Well, they actually killed that something really fast there. Must have really nice upgrades, I guess. Or maybe it was already damaged. But we've seen a couple of Corsairs here as well. And here we go. Here's the break while the drop is going on. Leading with the Dragoons. He is moving in with some Zealots, though. Not the best push break I've ever seen, but no, actually, this is much better. Okay, this is what he wants to do, but the Reaper's not really doing much damage. See, this is what I'm talking about. The High Templar are standing right behind the Dragoons. As the Hydras move forward, they get stormed while the Dragoons are just picking off the Lurkers from the distance, and this is actually a fantastic break by Snow here. You can see on Juni's face, he did not like how that went at all, and Snow is just playing this so calmly, so carefully, continuously dropping, you know, not afraid of the Lurker contain. A lot of Protoss players, they see this big Lurker contain outside, they're just like, oh my god, they basically just give up, you know, they're like, oh, well, shit, I can't win now, just A-move everything, and then they just lose everything. But no, it is breakable for sure. Even though he lost all those High Templar early on, the constant harassment and just this extremely strong unit composition is doing wonders. And it looks like now he's able to finally get a third base up at this mineral only. You know, Dragoon Templar plus Reavers, that is like an insanely strong composition. But oh no, he left his Reavers on the side! He loses one Reaver immediately, kills a bunch of Hydras at least, but man, he really needs those Reavers to stay alive. The Dragoons are strong, they're a beefy unit, they're the backbone of the Protoss army, but you need the Storms and the Reaver Splash to back them up. The splash damage is key here against the Mass Hydras. Mass Hydras will still own Dragoons any day of the week. They will eat them alive if there's no splash damage backing them up. The Dragoons are really there. It's going to be the meat shields for the Templar and the Lurkers, as well as doing, and the Reavers, as well as doing damage themselves. Actually doing a fairly good job against Lurkers and whatnot. But the Hydra's just much more cost efficient. But oh, the shuttle does get sniped. The Reavers does stay alive though, and the Templars morph into an Archon. So no more storms with this army. There's one slow Reaver on the ground with no shuttle support. But now Juni's suddenly in a lot of trouble here. This big Protoss army is rolling into the bottom left, and what has he got? He's got Hydras and Lurkers running in the back, but that's not that many. There's so many Dragoons in that army. Please do not crash at this point in the game. And he's moving in now, but you see the Dragoons can just kind of back up here, and the Lurker's even not going to be the most effective unit against those Dragoons. Nice snipe on the Observer, though. He snipes the Observer. There's no Observer here, so if those Lurkers borrow... No, there's a second Observer. He needs to get... No, there's two more Observers, so the Observer snipe does nothing. The Lurkers all go down, and Juni is in huge trouble right now, despite looking like he was in a great position this entire game. Snow just being so patient, just doing constant harassment, just playing it perfectly almost. You know, even though Juni, you know, he sniped that early Reaver and the shuttle, he sniped all those High Templars, and yet it doesn't even matter because Protoss is a pretty good race, guys. And Juni is suddenly in huge trouble. He's lost his third base, his fourth base is about to go down, he's got nothing to defend, he's down to 35 supply, he can't believe it, 85 supply to 35, all the drones are running, the Hydras are being killed as they spawn, he's still... the Observer's actually showing he's got no lair tech. Oh my, wait a minute, I didn't even see an evolution chamber. Is he still on 0-0? Oh my god, that could actually be huge. That's why his units are just terrible right now. Because the Protoss has been upgrading this whole time, I'm fairly certain. So if he's got no upgrades, like that's going to be a huge deal here. And yeah, the fourth base is going to go down. I mean, Juni's completely dead. There's no two ways about it. I don't see an evolution chamber. I'm pretty sure he's just on 0-0. And well, that is going to be that. I mean, look at this. You know, Snowy's mined out on his two bases. I mean, the contain kind of did what it was supposed to, but now he's just, you know, he's got the mineral only, he's expanding again to 3 o'clock. There's nothing that Juni can do about it. He's going to send one Hydra to harass, but, you know, he's back down to his original 2 bases. He's got random Lurkers being picked off in the middle of the map here. And he's just going to stay in the game to try and do something because he knows that this game should have been his. And yet, perhaps being a little bit too overeager with those Hydras, I think sacrificing all of his tech. I was actually wondering, because I was thinking, you know, he took a very greedy fourth, but he had very low drone saturation in the beginning for a long time. So I was actually surprised that he could constantly be making so many Hydras and Lurkers, you know, for the whole game, despite getting constantly harassed and losing a lot of drones. And I was wondering how he was doing this, and it looks like what he did was he sacrificed any kind of tech, so no hive tech, no upgrades, nothing, just pure basic Hydra Lurk. And the Lurkers even came quite late, so yeah, it just didn't work out in the end. You know, Snow just like very patiently. It's like, alright, you can tame me, but that's okay, I'm gonna have this super strong Protoss army, and you just can't win. Okay, looks like actually there's one evolution chamber for the natural, okay. So you did have some upgrades, I guess, like just getting those Hydra attack upgrades, presumably. But, well, that's gonna be GG. GG! Snow taking the game. Smile, Snow, you just won an awesome game, dude. Oh, apparently he had +2. Alright, so not terrible. And the score is 1-1. And you know what? You know what? All I can say is I was right. Juni is not very good. He looked okay there for a second, and is like, actually, no, I'm actually not very good at StarCraft. So yeah, Snow taking the game despite a number of severe mistakes there, losing the initial Reaver, losing the High Templar. Actually, you know what? I forgot to